saw where, opened back up. Must get somebody to know.
Have you had your
We adopt it?
motion to adopt the agenda?
Second the motion.
All right. And did you guys look at the minutes that Mike sent us? In November was our last meeting,
November.
right?
It's been a while.
And we sent them again today.
Did somebody make a motion to adopt agenda?
Yeah, and it was seconded by
I made a motion.
Jamie.
Jamie had,
Did we vote?
Oh, we have to vote. Yeah, no?
No, it's first, second, and then
All in favor of adopting this agenda, say aye.
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 We voted now. All right. What about approval of November's meeting minutes?
I sent them out to everybody today again.
That's all I'm coming.
Yeah, I saw them. I was good with them.
I will motion to approve the minutes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries 6-0.
6-0.
And then Jamie, do you have that treasurer's report you did?
oh, I do, yeah, I sure
It's
do.
right there.
Right here.
Pass it on down the line.
Good job, Jamie.
All right. All right, the treasury report, there was nothing spent, nothing took in, the same balance as December 1st of $22,757.46.
All right, we do not have to vote on that because it's a fact. All right, let's move on to old business, and we are going to start at the top with the most important one, the 254 Main IGA. And Paul has so kindly joined us tonight to help us sort through this. So let's start with anybody who has any questions about the IGA. Paul has said they will help us write it, they will help us through the process, but did you have any questions from the meeting or what City Council wants from us? No one? You guys all love everything City Council said?
Is the IGA done?
No, we haven't even.
Say that again?
Is the IGA done?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
it is.
I sent you copies of it a while back. The council's already passed the IGA. And so I sent y'all copies of it, or I sent Tara a copy of it. So, I have a copy of it, but I don't have multiple copies. I did make some copies of other things tonight, so Danny can go make copies real quick. So yes, the IGA's already been passed by the city, and it is for you guys to then pass so that we can move forward. So the IGA, its essential terms are basically that y'all will conduct an RFP for the property, receive input on the RFPs, make a decision and recommendation based upon the RFP, and then send that recommendation up to the council, and then for them to confirm it. And then you sell the property pursuant to the RFP, and then once you sell the property, then the city gets 90% of the proceeds, and you guys get 10% of the proceeds to put in your pocket and coffers for DDA purposes. So I apologize, I didn't know that I needed to bring copies for everybody.
You didn't. I did. We talked about it last time. I just didn't realize that it was done, so that's my.
Yeah, so we passed it, I think, at the November meeting.
Yeah, we did,
for
because we talked about the 10% and all that, so we knew that.
Yeah.
in that we were starting with the first, the Main Street facing property, right? Not the whole property?
It could be either.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some flexibility, like the focus is on, so there's a, and I don't have it in front of me because I gave my one copy to Danny, but there's sort of a vision statement that is part of the IGA that I think y'all have seen, that the council passed to give y'all sort of a narrative and directive for developing the RFP. And that includes language that basically says the focus is on the frontage, but that the additional dirt, sort of the dirt to the rear, you know, with the right plan could be considered. So the short answer on, is it just the front or is it the back, is there's flexibility there for you guys to put into the RFP to seek, you know, to seek qualified applicants for development of the property.
So the terminology of that is what Jamie read the last time. So we did have that portion in the last meeting, and all agreed to that.
Well, now, wasn't there, my understanding the last time we met, there were 2 pieces of property or just
Well, it is-
254 in the IGA?
It is
pieces
it is two physical pieces of property,
that are included in the IGA?
correct?
Okay, so that we can do the,
We
market
could
all
do,
of
we
it.
could do all,
Yeah.
the front, the
Okay.
back, however,
Gotcha.
whatever we think is best and send to them. if I'm
Correct.
understanding it.
Whatever you think is in best in, whatever this board determines is the best fit for the city and the downtown area, taking into account y'all's goals and taking into account that vision statement that was passed by the city council.
Awesome. Thank you for writing that. And
Okay, so when we get to the, when we sign the we have to sign it, right?
Yeah, what we're going to need tonight, what that old business item is we need a motion to approve the IGA, and that will authorize you to sign the IGA on behalf of the DDA.
Perfect. And then from there, what's the next step?
The next step is for y'all to develop your RFP, and develop that RFP and then get it out and get it published. And of course, my office can help with that. I know Danny's office can help with that too. I had previously sent, it probably was back in the summer, so it was a while ago, but I'd previously sent, I believe, to Dana, several examples of RFQs, and I think I may have sent them to the whole group. I cannot recall, but I can certainly send them again. But the next step is to develop the RFP, get it in final form, approve it, and then get it published. And where you put it out, there's sort of 2 paths where you put it out. One is you put it on the state's procurement website where these professional land planners and engineers and architects are looking all the time for projects. It'll get picked up and grabbed there a lot. But then in addition, other great places to sort of get it out to, or just pick up the phone and call sort of, you know, folks, the other DDAs, hey, who did this project, you know, who do you know that's did the great design project for, I don't know, whatever, that building over in Lawrenceville or that building over in Douglasville or wherever, you know, you've seen a similar project done by another local DDA. And then just literally just sort of some cold calls. The other thing that I would strongly suggest, I think I know I talked about this with Dana, so I apologize, so it's been a minute. But for this RFP, RFQ, my suggestion, this is y'all's decision, but my suggestion is that you do not have a short window on this. It's going to take you a minute to get this out to the market that you need to get it out to, you know, for either, you know, designers or developers, you know. I mean, this project is going to take sort of a unique end user that wants to do it, that has the skill set to come in and do all of it. And so our advice from our office would be that when you put this RFP out there, you leave it open like for a window. You know, you think of like government bids, hey, we're gonna go bid the, I don't know, repaving of Main Street. You put that out there for 30 days because there's like 8 asphalt companies that show up and are gonna give you a bid. This is a very unique project, and so I don't think 30-day window is going to give you the exposure that you need. I don't know how long of an exposure you're going to need, but.
Does the window need to be determined when you put it out?
Well, so yes, yes, or you can, normally you're going to say this RFP will be open until, you know, 120 days, 150 days, whatever. You can also say open until filled. I really wouldn't suggest that, because if you don't give folks a deadline, we all know how we are with deadlines, right? If you don't give folks a deadline, they may not submit, and then they just kind of, something else comes up. So, I mean, it happens, but it is very rare to see an RFP, RFQ open until filled. I would put a deadline on it.
When can,
I would say that.
Enough isn't loud enough?
I would say that, personally, my gut says that you need at least 4 months to go searching for somebody, and maybe more.
can we put a for sale sign on it?
You absolutely can put a for sale
Good.
sign on it.
Good. Awesome.
Yes, you can put a for sale sign on it, but my recommendation would be, instead of a for sale sign, instead an informational advertising sign that says, this property is
Available.
Yeah, that says the city's DDA is currently accepting
Seeking,
proposals and input from developers, builders, designers on best possible uses. Find the information here, and then a QR code or a link and the like, so.
Perfect.
So that'd be good.
We could do that. I'm sorry, we could do that and refer them to the RFP, couldn't we?
Correct, yeah, just the link would take them right to the RFP, and it'd give them all the information.
Is there boilerplate language for the RFP that puts out there that I know the DDA has right to refuse certain proposals. Is there a boilerplate RFP that says that?
Yeah, I'll send y'all several examples that just says that we're just to be clear, and I brought y'all some lovely reading material tonight that I'll leave with each of you. This project is sitting in your lap because you have the ability to make decisions on behalf of this community as the DDA board to allow the project to be developed or partnered with. Essentially, it's a partnership with an end user, an end builder, in a manner that's consistent with the best needs of the revitalization of the downtown of Loganville. That is a very different legal right that this board has than what the city council has. If the city council is going to sell it, they have very limited options, which is essentially sealed bid, public auction, or they can list it for sale with a realtor who has to follow very similar processes, whereby it's out on the open market essentially to the highest bidder, right, regardless of sort of the end use or the best potential use. So can you put a for sale sign? Yes, you can, but ultimately the reason why this property is come to you for y'all to deal with is because y'all have the ability and the authority to make decisions that aren't necessarily based upon the highest dollar obtained for the sale of the property, but instead the best overall use for the betterment of the community.
So we could put, like you said, a for sale, said this property available with an RFP, the scan code on there, to get the property out there, get that sign out there as quickly as possible so we can get traffic visually seeing it as it goes up and down the road while we're seeking these other interested parties.
Yes, you absolutely can, but at
Good.
the end of the day, I'll just tell you that the end user generally that most of these type projects are looking for isn't necessarily going to be somebody that drives by it, right? It doesn't mean they can't.
Right.
But it's going out into that market of people who are sort of in the business of revitalizing downtowns, doing what we call, this is essentially a public-private partnership, right?
Yeah. But it would also highlight to the community that we're
100%.
active in doing this on this property.
100%.
Because there has been a great bit of interest in this property from the start. And rather than ride by and just see business as usual, we'll be able to demonstrate we're moving forward as a city and a DDA.
Sure, absolutely.
Paul, question for you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, because you do a lot with Monroe, and I know a lot of people who do stuff with the city of Monroe. Properties like this, I know times are changing. Do you usually see these properties sell 99% of the time to a developer who then has the intentions to rent? Or do you see possibly somebody who comes in and says, hey, I've been planning to open up a restaurant. I want to buy this property, build this correctly, and be that person that actually puts my restaurant in this building. Like, I know the Row. They bought that building, they own that building, they opened that building. Or do you see really most of the time, 99% of the time nowadays, is a developer looking to then rent?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, and here's the reason why. I mean, don't tell anybody, but I turned 50 this year, and so I've been doing this long enough now to realize that when I was young, I thought I could do it all, right? Jack of all trades, a master of none. And at the end of the day, what you generally see is skill sets. And so the folks that have the ability to take the vision of a piece of property and execute that vision, turning it into a cool restaurant space, some cool retail space, maybe some lofts upstairs, maybe some open space in the back, whatever, maybe cottages in the back, maybe not. Those folks have that skill set, and they don't have the skill set to run a restaurant.
That's what I figured.
And most importantly, vice versa. So you're segregating out talents and skills.
Sure.
So normally you're not going to have the end user as your applicants. You're going to have the developer who is then going to turn around and market and find those end users of, the barbecue joint or the sushi joint or the cool hip whatever that wants to come in. So it's probably going to be a developer.
Okay.
But when you write the RFP right, the focus is in on a developer that comes in and does it in a way that complements downtown versus y'all are struggling with the developer, and he says, oh, but I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. You write the RFP in a way that says, no, this is the way we want it to look. This is what we're looking for. We need the right type of person to come to the table and give us those ideas.
That was my question. So, and thank you, because that was exactly. And then, so with the RFP, unlike an RFQ, like this now it's a request, I'm guessing, for purchase, of course. And it's like, hey, we now, in a way, we didn't skip the vision part, but we're like, hey, here's our vision. We didn't pay for this, but we want something like this, so you have to build something like this.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that is going to be part of the struggle here.
For sure.
Because you didn't go out and get some design professional work done to give you some storyboards, to give you some vision casting, then you're going to write an RFP that says, we want proposals, and those proposals are going to need to include everybody's own sort of vision. So the great news is you'll cast a wide net, but you may get, ideas over here and ideas over here that aren't in keeping with sort of what your goal is, what you want, which is sort of in keeping with this, and now you all have a copy of it with this Exhibit C, the vision synopsis.
Well, the good news about that is if we need to provide some sort of sketch or design, I know somebody that's got some crayons.
Yeah,
And
He does a great job, too.
and
I've
we
seen his
can
work.
we can sketch a design. I mean, when we were looking at the case studies in the DDA courses we took, they had several DDAs showed where they had sketches that they were able to show a developer that they could take their own sketches that they have, because a lot of developers that were going to show up have depth of design already in their business portfolio. I mean, we just saw the groups that were up here showing what they were going to do with respect to our zoning laws. And so we know that they've got a lot of that, but like you said, to put forth a design concept, I think this DDA can put one together once we sort of figure out what we'd like to see on that, so that when we have our RFP, there's something there they can look at and say, well, yeah, it might not be the prettiest thing, but it'll be enough to give you the idea that they would want.
Yeah, so we'll send you some examples of some RFPs, and they're not hard to find. You can go out there and look. I think, if I remember correctly, in one of the meetings last summer, Dana may have shared a couple that he found too. I think the one that he found that was most recent, close by to you guys, was Lilburn had done an RFP for some, and it was a straight to developer RFP like this, although I do think they already had some design metrics in mind. But it was more of a, this is almost sort of a blank slate. Y'all got a synopsis, this is what we envision. But it's a pretty blank slate, sort of, open whiteboard. And they did that for a couple of remnant pieces. I think it was in downtown Lilburn, and they got some amazing proposals and presentations for some tiny home type models, and it was more residential focused and less retail focused.
I feel like because we kind of not bypassed that step as a board, like as we keep going around the next month or two, I feel like a lot of the best thing for us is finding pieces. Lilburn, Lawrenceville, we're blessed to have a ton of great development around us. It's like when we see something that's on a corner, because again, the corners, you find a piece and take a picture and say, hey,
100%.
the more we fill, the more we have as a group, photos and stuff of corner pieces, like I can think of two in Lawrenceville that I love.
Yeah.
It's just saying, hey, there's one example, there's two examples, especially as we pass that step. It's more of, hey, if you can build a sign along these lines, That's what we're after,
Yeah.
with intentions for X, Y, Z.
And I would just make this suggestion very simple, and then I'll shut up. But I mean, it can literally be as simple as a Pinterest board.
Okay.
And I don't Pinterest or
Yeah,
do any of that
that's what I'm
stuff.
thinking.
But literally, you guys, and you can even seek input from the community that you want to. And literally, when you see something that you like and you say, I want something to look like that, you literally take a picture of it
Mm-hmm.
and you post it to the board that says like. And then you also create a board of what you don't like. And when
Okay.
you see something you don't like, you post it to that board and say, I don't like it. And then you include those exemplaries in your RFP that says, we're interested in things of this type.
Perfect.
Okay.
Can I-
the- Oh,
I'm
sorry,
sorry,
go
I was
ahead.
can I ask a question?
Of course.
Mr. Mayor, back in 2023, I guess it's Sizemore made the presentation for the downtown development. And in that, they had drawings of what they would like to see versus what they did not like to see. That was for the city council with input from citizens, isn't that correct?
Correct.
So that would be a good place for us to start and look at.
That was a very,
Like you said, a Pinterest board.
Yeah.
The presentation I pulled up was very much like that.
yeah, Sizemore is a very high-level overview.
Well, we
So,
don't,
yeah,
we don't want to pin anybody down.
Yeah, yeah. And I will say, if you open it up with, less, sometimes you'll get creative solutions y'all didn't even know might get turned in by certain developers. Because if you pin them down too much, maybe as well, it might turn people off. 'Cause you might get some stuff you've never even seen before, but you think, yes, that's Loganville, or yes, they get it, or that's really cool. I think our people really enjoy that. But yeah, they do have on that Sizemore plan. Is it still on the website, Danny, somewhere?
Well, I found the presentation they did at city council online, and that included 254 Main,
Yeah.
what they would like to see.
So one suggestion on that too is you do have some studies and resources from things about downtown, and you can always link those as just, here are some prior studies, here's some prior data that's been gathered, and just the suggestion is that you link those in the RFP and say, here's information to gather. So that Sizemore presentation, I know not everybody loves it, but it's still data that can be gleaned from. There may be others, I'm not sure, but you certainly would want to put as much of that historical data as you can into the RFP for the applicants to look at for reference.
But what about that, what about that,
I'm sorry?
What was
drawing
on
you
the
did,
size one,
Brandon?
what was in the 254 space? I don't
But basically, they just had an office building similar to what was there before. But I think what they focused on was the type of architecture to go there. In other words, they don't want to see any tall, futuristic, modern looking thing. They wanted it more looking like what downtown looks like, and I guess now what the library looks like. That's something.
The brick
Well,
material
well,
was
that's what I was
talked
gonna
about.
say, is we have the library now. Can we not say we just put in the not library, we want to build complementary to that? So since no one has any like defined we want exactly, we just want something that complements our new library that's right next door.
Yeah, I think so. I think this synopsis written kind of says that. I don't remember the exact language, but it talks about, compatibility or seamlessly integrates, feels timeless and seamlessly integrates to the surrounding area, something that doesn't look out of place.
So that could be how we word it?
Yeah, so the one thing about this IGA, and I do encourage you to read it, and I'm sorry that y'all didn't already have copies of it, I'd sent it out before, but it says, is in paragraph, section 1, page 2, bottom, is the development of the RFP is y'all's discretion. It's in y'all's discretion, with the council giving you the guidance of that Exhibit C, sort of an executive summary. Y'all are to develop the RFP into what you think is the appropriate asks based upon sort of this overview, big picture that the council has provided to you. So the short answer is, of course, Chairwoman, you can put in, hey, look at the library and look at these other pieces, but y'all have got the flexibility. It's in y'all's hands.
I have two more comments and then I'll be quiet about this one. When it comes to designing this, we talked about this one time, so now it's in our hands and we've talked about not really like US passes to us for us 7 to make this RFP now. The rules when it comes to me, like to me, this is better done with us sitting around the table with the 7 of us meeting and going through this. But am I right? We still can't do that without having people sitting here listening to our every single word.
No.
Yeah, it's
Because that's a
still-
very difficult thing to do without, because again, I would put right here, public comment question mark, because again, I look back at Sizemore when that blew up, and again, I don't expect that here, but we're sitting here because our really next meeting should be us narrowing down everything that needs to be in this RFP to then send it out. And it's going to be the 7 of us just going back and forth like, hey, here's Breck's 3 examples. What do y'all think? How many stories? How many square feet? I mean, there's a lot of things we kind of got to narrow down. I just didn't know I'm just assuming as based on both your nods, we can't do that in private somehow.
You cannot. It needs to be an open meeting. But just to be clear, it needs to be in an open meeting. But an open meeting doesn't mean that you have to receive public comment.
Yes.
Right? Y'all have been tasked with the job. So whether you sit up here, you sit around a table like I know the mayor had to do at another meeting, a public meeting is a public meeting open to the public for the public to observe the government.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that you have to receive public comment.
Perfect.
You just-
Thank you.
You
Like
do
I said,
your-
I just didn't know the
You're
exact.
up here doing your
rules.
work. You don't have to receive public comment. Now, I always suggest.
But I think if the point is that we want people to bring us their ideas, I
Right.
don't know that we would want to narrow it down much further than
And it's not that they could be
complimenting.
jumping in while we're in the middle of it.
And we can say no if
Well,
no
no,
one
that's
brings
why
anything.
I think we sit here like a normal meeting, we go through it, we pin down kind of what we're thinking, and then if you guys won't open up, I remember them talking in the past, just be careful with how much, and again, we definitely have to set the time limit to people talking, because we could sit here for hours listening to people, 3-4 minutes, okay, next person, like, because I do want to hear them, I'm not saying I don't, but I just know that could really take a turn we don't want it to go.
Yeah, I don't
down.
imagine that we're going to have the turnout that
Well,
like Sizemore did.
now, I will say that there is some public interest in it. Terry Malcolm has reached out to me several times about what the thoughts are on this, and I don't know if we can get an RFP done before the next meeting. I think we might. It's a good goal, but I think just like he said a minute ago, this shouldn't be rushed. It should be done. So maybe our first step, like you said, is to coalesce in what we want as a group. When we've formulated that, then have another meeting for some public comment, because Terry's mentioned there are a number of people, that would be impacted immediately around that property that would love to, A, see what we're thinking, and B, have some input into that.
I'm down.
Yeah, and I wasn't in any way suggesting that you don't receive input
Yeah,
from the
right.
community. It's just that you could do it in a structured way so you don't have a 4 or 5 hour meeting. You could say, hey, we're receiving comments on this, email them to this address, or put them in before next Tuesday, and you could certainly factor those in.
I
But-
feel like we've already gotten public comment. Maybe I'm the odd one out here, but I feel like we've asked.
I think when you
talked.
actually tell people, like, our next meeting is us sitting at a table right there designing this, there'll be more people in here. You don't think so?
I don't. I mean, we.
I don't know. I
we
mean,
did the
you know what I mean? It's always a
survey.
mixed bag how it's going to go. There's
Yeah,
been meetings
we
that I
did
thought
the
was going to be a
survey.
huge
We
turnout,
asked
and
what they
Well, I'm not
wanted.
worried about it. I'm just saying the next meeting, whatever it is, we need to go in and have this, we have to sit down it's gonna take a few
yeah.
hours. It's
I
not
mean,
gonna be a 5-minute.
they'll come, they won't, may not come to the first, may come to the third.
What
but-
are we thinking is going to take a few hours?
I mean,
I'm down.
I'm just thinking,
I'm down for it,
I'm just
just
thinking
not
my
following.
logistics of what he has in mind, what I have in mind, and you have in mind, I can tell you right now, it's similar, but like, you're talking, hey, we 1, 2, 3 stories. How is this bottom story we want? Do we have 2 businesses on it? I'm just thinking the logistics of building a building, and we gotta have that for those people. Again, we're gonna be open, but you still gotta be like, because you can get a submission what's our limit? 5 stories technically in the city of Loganville?
No.
It's something crazy. Yes, it is. It's something crazy.
I'd like a plat of this property
6
so that we
stories.
can look
You're
at
allowed.
what
Wait,
we're
who said
doing.
6?
You
You are
so
allowed
that
to have
we can
6 stories
lay
in
it
City
out
of
like
Loganville.
we'd like. I'd like to see a plat of this property so
that's
we can use that
all-
to work off of.
All I'm saying is that's why we need to be on the board and say,
Map
it's,
Somebody got to bring me up to speed, Ms. Long, after the meeting, because
it's been 6.
I'm not saying it's not, I just,
No, I think everybody in here agrees with that. We're just saying that's why we have to
What was
have
approved?
certain 6 stories.
You're kidding me.
right, is it me? Wasn't there like something somewhere that there was a limit? I thought like 2 or 3.
That's how they're trying to get them to buy the fire truck by raising the limits on the buildings. That's how long ago it was.
But all I'm saying, like I said, we control that now. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying like that's why we need to have ourselves a max, a minimal, what we anticipate. Again, do you have one business on the front? Do you have two somehow? Do you have a downstairs? Do you have a parking? We just need to have those details pinned down. That's why I really think before the next one, like I'll bring 3 or 4 examples of pictures and stuff, like, because I already know kind of what I think. And then Jamie might think different, and you might think different, but that way we can sit here and at least put together,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
want any more than X. We want this, and just the
Yeah,
base.
I think that's a good idea that we kind of come to the table.
Yes.
Okay, so.
Oh, yeah, well, I'd love a plat of the property so you can, so I can
Exactly,
kind of
yeah.
make my little boxes and squares and make the little arches and, oh, yeah, you know.
Okay, so for the old business, we just need to approve this IGA.
Yes.
And then when we get to the new,
Can I make a motion that we approve the IGA?
you can.
Can allow you to sign it for the board?
Let's do it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of approving the IGA?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, that motion carries 6-0. And then when we get to the new business, where we talk about the next steps of 254, I think we need to go ahead and choose a day and carve out the 4 hours, and that's what it's gonna be, and not change it, because I don't wanna slow this process down. We've got the IGA, if we've gotta put RFP or RFQ, whatever it is, up for 4 months, I think we need to do it before our next meeting, so that we can have that.
You
stuff
want it
done.
before the next meeting. I was going to say the
I-
next meeting can be that, but if you're wanting it
A
before.
4-hour meeting, I would think it needs to be like on a Saturday.
I'm not
You
saying,
say 4 hours, not me.
it could just take longer than you just, yeah. I'm not saying 4. I'm just saying we need to think through more details than what we're just talking
I
about.
just think that if we're really, I mean, honestly, to be quite honest, my next question to Paul before you said that was, can Paul's office just do it for us and we not have to do it? But if you guys want to do it, then I think we need to do it before the next meeting and get moving.
Well, his office can write the legal stuff in it, but we still have to design, we still have to show them what we're
Right,
after.
but I was thinking we give them like a more broader, like, hey, look at the library, and then that's what we want, and then we approve it backwards, just because none of us have any experience, and he does. But if you guys want to sit down to meet, I mean, I'm just one person out
Well-
of 6 of us, so.
Well, I don't think it would take 4 hours to do that. If all of us came to the next meeting with the concepts we have, we laid them out on a table, we all looked at them, and then we agreed on this, this, and this, and we formulated some sort of pictorial idea, and then hand that to Paul with what we've come up with, we ought to be able to knock that out pretty quick.
Right, but at the next meeting.
I mean, I think it's important that we have involvement in trying to put it together. I mean, this is us, this is our board, this is what we're here to do.
Yeah.
Let's not diminish our ability, you know what I mean? Brax is with me, he's hearing me, so.
I just
How are
think,
we diminishing our ability?
Well, just by saying, we'll hand it off to
Hey.
Paul.
No, no,
Well,
no,
I'm
no,
not,
no.
I'm not saying you just hand it off to Paul, but like,
No.
I have been looking into this like every week, doing a lot. I've taken like 10 classes, and writing an RFP is a lot more. Even the one we wrote, is not comparable to other DDAs. If you go look at the other DDAs, what they do, but they do have studies, and we don't. So what are we going to? What are we gonna, what design standards do you guys want to put in? I thought the whole point of it was for them to bring the design standards to us. So if now we're gonna give them a set of design standards, none of us really know what that should be or what would
But
be
you
right.
Well, no, we don't have to put those design standards in, just like we said from the beginning, because he says we have control over how we want to present it to developers.
But what-
And if we're doing it along the same lines of a seamless architecture of Main Street, we've pretty much set a design standard.
If we develop an RFP very similar to the Appendix C that they gave us in the IGA, leaving it kind of open so that the architects bring in their plans and we can look at them and approve them or not, I think that would be better than trying to come up with a whole lot of restrictions put in the RFP.
I agree.
And I think that's what you're saying, Tara, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what I might just be missing it because I'm
Well,
not an
if I was hearing Paul and everybody talking about, publishing this, that we were gonna come up with ideas of what we'd like to see and have pictures, and sketches and whatnot of what we'd like to see on this property for a developer to look at, and that our RFP would be exactly what Tara was talking about, a guideline, very broad, so that they could bring their creative ideas to us. But that we had to have some idea for them to look at.
And I guess that's what, I'm more just saying, I don't want us to, look like we're doing, like saying, I'm open for openness and them to give us ideas. I'm just saying we need to at least clarify a few things. Like, again, my mind has some on the first floor, maybe some type of little townhomes or apartments on the top, whatever. I know that word's bad, but you know what I mean. Or I like a rooftop, but like mine, I'm capping it at 2 stories in my mind. I think most of y'all would agree, but you got to at least give them that. I don't think any of us want anything more than that. So again, you got to at least have some type, to me, I just, like, again, how I visualize that corner, you got to give them something. I'm not saying everything. I'm saying, hey, here's the library, here's 3 downtown Lawrenceville I love, here's 1 in Monroe I love, looking especially at the corner, because that's a very important corner, and someone's going to do a very good job. I'm open for them to give us ideas. I just don't want it to look like we're like, okay, cool, next.
Yeah.
It's a very important, that's all I want. I think we should have a little bit of input to start. I'm not going to limit them.
You know, and I think your idea is great, that if we all.
It's a happy in
come
between of
back
all
with-
of us.
You've got some
Yes.
ideas, we've all got some ideas, and then see what we all agree
Yes.
on. Like, there's gonna be a common thread through it, so what do we
Yes.
all agree
Well,
on?
well, if we're keeping within the design of Main Street as it is right now, Brandon's restaurant, the height of the churches and everything would almost dictate a 2-story limit anyway. So again, it comes back to what we talk about, that one word that's,
Fitting with the street.
consistent with the design. So therefore, you're basically stating a design height already.
Exactly, and to be honest, a lot of downtowns don't really say stories, we'll just say up to so much feet. So say it's like y'all want, 80 feet is the highest church, you don't want anything taller than your church, so that's 75 feet. And they might be able to fit in, if they want to do 18-foot ceilings, 20-foot ceilings, or, they could do more stories depending on if they fit within that guideline. So it's really not so much say stories, because then they can make each story 24
Yeah.
feet if they want to, but.
If you've come back and you've said, again, the caveat that Tara said, consistent with Main Street, and a builder shows up with a 6-story design, you're going, what part of consistent did you miss? So.
I agree. Like I said, I'm just trying to save those people that time, because I feel like you'll get everything between here and the sun, and that way you can at least limit a little bit, like give them a little bit of guidelines.
Oh,
Start them in the right
I'd love
path.
to see everything under the sun, so we can say, no, I don't like that, I don't like that.
Yeah, I
don't
think
like
that's
that."
where I'm confused, is
I
I
don't
thought that's what we did want, was just like a big pile of choices. Because everyone kept saying, you never know what they'll do if you don't limit them.
You gotta have some realistic limits, though. That's
Well,
all,
we-
all I'm saying is you will get 6-story corner lots.
So do you guys want
telling
to
you.
wait until the next meeting to do that? I'm just thinking about the form. If we're going to put the RFP out for 4 months, and we take 2 or 3 more months before we even get it, that puts us 7 months in before we even know what we're doing. So I just don't want to keep putting it off. So if we could meet before the next meeting, so that maybe we could have the RFP done before the next meeting, I think that would be a good, because we also have to send it back. We have to send it back to city council, right, Paul?
No.
Oh, we don't.
You don't have to send the RFP back to city council. The winner, the person or the entity, the developer you select, you'll send that back for them to agree and enter into basically the purchase and sale from you and an IGA. Well, there's already an IGA in place, but basically they'll transfer and off you go. So you don't have to get the city council's approval for the RFP.
Do you usually have a number, a cost on an RFP, or not really? Is it open,
No.
okay, that was the next
I would
question.
highly suggest
no.
not.
Perfect.
So what I'm going to do before we leave this meeting is I'm going to send you 2 examples of the most recent ones that just came to my mind from Monroe. And the good news about these 2 that you're going to see is that one is very simple and very not fully developed, and one is extremely developed and well developed. And the scope of the 2 projects are actually in that same way. One is just one downtown building, and one is an 8-acre site in Monroe. And both of them were put out for RFQs to potential developer builders. And I don't want to discourage y'all, but I want to be realistic with you. Both of these, I just happened to notice because I was doing a little bit of digging, both of these, they had to go to market a couple of times. Because when you're looking to find developers that do it right, it's not, if you said, let's go find a developer to build us a neighborhood on 40 acres and put in 40 houses that all look the same in 40 random acres of green grass, we'd have 60 people show up tomorrow, right? Those guys are out there all day long. But when you say we have a very unique piece of dirt in downtown Loganville that has historical context, it has old pecan trees that some people are very interested in saving and taking care of, and we want it built within the context of what we have, and we want it built within the context of what Loganville was and what Loganville is going to become, and it needs to be built this way, this way, and this way. That is not a long list of guys and gals that will show up. They are out there, but there's not a long list of them. So I was just looking at a couple RFPs so I can send to you as exemplaries, and both of these projects that I thought of, I had forgotten it, but both of them went out to market to bid twice, because on the first submissions they didn't get any. They had to massage it, work it some more, and pick up the phone and call and dial and, hey, aren't you interested in this, and so on and so forth. I would not put a price. And the reason why is if this was just about the dollars, then the city council could have sold it just at a price. This is about what's the right thing to put there. But I'll get these emailed. Danny's getting me y'all's joint email where y'all are on a group, and I'm going to email it these links to you, and you'll have two really good examples. And why I mean by good is because one's real simple and basic, 3-4 pages, and the other one's 16, 17 pages and has a lot of pretty pictures, and you can kind of see both.
How long does Munder leave them out for?
I don't know. I have to go back and see. But like I
a
said,
hard one.
both of those took a while to find. You know, it takes a while to find the right team to come to the table. It can take a while. Doesn't have to, but it certainly can.
So do you suggest we move quicker now and get it out there, or should?
No,
we
I was
wait
just
to-
letting you know that I found a couple of examples just sitting here. I'm going to send to you that give you kind of really complex RFP to really simple RFP, and you can kind of see the range. And I would, and y'all probably want to land on something in between, you know?
No, I'm saying, would it benefit us to meet between now and next month to get this rolling quicker, or?
Well,
do
I
you
think that
we should?
I think that if y'all, I don't know if y'all do a lot of emailing, but I mean, I think that you could make some progress just in the email world before you meet again, and just say, hey, let's focus on this level of detail, or let's focus more on a simple level of detail, you know, or somewhere in between. You could probably get a lot done via email.
That's what I was gonna suggest, is that everybody kind of come up with an idea of what they want, put it in an email, put it together, and then we can all look at it. And then at the next meeting, we'll already have our notes. So we'll-
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yep, like it.
All right. So we'll move on from this because we have to get back to before new business anyway. Next, we were gonna decide on our final goals for 2026 outside of 254 Main. Certainly need to have some if it's gonna take that long for us to get it going. So I typed up just 3 that I, have been reading endlessly about this, obviously, because I don't have any experience and I really don't know what we're supposed to be doing. So I've been trying to figure it out. So real quick, I came up with 3, and these are not by no means what, 100%, but I thought I could get us started. First of all, the directional goal for Main Street, because it is just like that half a mile or whatever it is. And we've got to figure out what we're going to do with it. And a lot of the problem we have is there's a lot of non-commercial and non-tax generating stuff. So from what I've been reading and understanding is most DDAs work with their city council to kind of develop some ordinances. And that will help with the like nonprofits and stuff. It won't change anything that's there now. And Paul, you might be able to answer our questions on that. But they can write ordinances that if you're not nonprofit or you're not open at least 4 days a week, then you can't be on that main street. You either have to be in the back, you can't have blacked out windows, you can't have stuff because, yeah, the real problem, it looks like I've been reading and trying to figure out what's wrong with our main street is that we're never going to develop enough traffic with just, the 3 of us and the arcade and the gym and the incoming cafes. And you know what I mean? There's not going to be enough if still 40% of the frontage is churches. And then So I think that's one thing we need to kind of develop a plan for, is to get city council has to do that though, right, Paul? We can't make that decision.
Yeah, that's correct. Y'all don't have any ordinance enforcement. of
Right.
We
building.
could write some though to save time for them where they could adopt that into,
You certainly can, or just give them a bullet point list. Can you look at, these ordinances that do this or do this? Or if you find exemplary ordinances that you say, I love exactly what downtown is doing in this community, can you do this? But yes, so you certainly can request them to do things, but y'all don't have enforcement authority over zoning compliance.
good idea, Tara.
So between that and like recruiting businesses, that will help with recruiting business because we can tell them, hey, we're doing something about the foot traffic. It will help with selling 254 Main if foot traffic is an issue, because we can say, hey, we're kind of filtering these things out. They could also help us with like the prime real estate, like the Wayne Hurst building. Like he has it there. If he's not going to use it, they can make extreme ordinances where it's like you have to use it, or he could let the DDA use it. And this is like, again, an area I'm not an expert in except for reading and watching these classes, is like he could let us use it for events twice a month or something, so that it's still in use and it's not just a dead corner of Main Street right in the middle. Things like that, or he could let the city use it for something, office space, anything, but
like insurance liabilities or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think you can require a private
Yeah.
building owner to do that.
you can the city council, from what I understand, and Paul, I might be wrong, can require that have active commercial business at least 3 or 4 days a week. Unless I'm wrong, but the one I was watching was like Augusta, so it wasn't Georgia.
There'd be a lot of cities right now, metro area, that would be big.
All right, ask that one more time. Let me make sure I got it.
So if a building is sitting empty and the owner is refusing, he won't sell, he won't use it, he won't do anything, the city can require that if it's gonna be forward facing the Main Street, that it be in use.
I'm not familiar.
I wish I.
I'd have to dig in and look, but my
Okay.
initial gut is going to say probably not. Could there be some outside enforcement capabilities through maybe some blight statutes that might get you there, but that's going to be pretty tough. I'm not familiar with any ordinances of that magnitude.
Well, in defense of Wayne, I remember a long time ago back, one of his concerns was that because he did a lot of furniture refinishing in there, there's probably great deal of remediation that needs to be done to that building, even if you were able to access inside to it. So in light of whoever might acquire the building, that's something that would be factored in if he decided to sell it. I know he's got a great attachment to it, but.
Yeah, and I'm not focusing just on him, that's the easiest.
Yeah, I
thing to point
understand,
out,
but that was
that's
just
one
an
everyone
example. I was
knows.
just saying that that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons why.
Right,
You
but-
probably haven't
Yeah,
seen that
and
building turn
These
like that.
buildings on Main have been talked about for years. And I remember Sizemore even said, oh, dang it, my mouth is loud enough. The building's been talked about for years, and I remember Sizemore saying, to kind of get things moving, a landlord might want to raise the rent to, but
Economic incentive.
that's on the landlord, the owner essentially.
Yeah, and the landlords don't.
They
want-
don't care.
The landlords can't raise their rent because they're taking whoever is coming because there's no foot traffic. Because even if they raise the rent, no one's gonna come there if we don't get people downtown.
Right, point being, those buildings are, I mean, as long as I've taken an interest in this was always the problem. You have owners that don't want to put the money into it to spruce it up.
But we can, Paul, do ordinances that regulate what kind of businesses go in the future,
In the
right?
future, like the nonprofits and
Like,
stuff.
we can't ask them to leave now, but in the future, we can write an ordinance that says, like, you can't have blacked out windows, you have to be actively a commercial business
I
to
thought
be
that's what
on.
that group was.
Yeah, I mean, the
You're allowed
city
to do
council
that.
and the rewriting of its zoning ordinance can certainly regulate aesthetics, regulate safety concerns, sometimes blackout windows address that, can regulate uses, yes.
And
Now,
we-
what area that the city council is extremely limited on in uses is they can we're going to mispronounce it tonight, the RLUIPA Act of 1997 under federal law, you cannot limit religious uses. So storefront churches, you're not just going to be able to say no storefront churches.
Yeah, I don't think we would even use the word church. I think it's just the people who aren't generating any sort of sales tax, aren't doing anything commercial.
So there are some economic incentive packages available from a taxation perspective, but I'm just going to be really candid. Those are those can happen and are out there, but those are extremely complicated and generally found in much larger urban markets where there's a larger staff to implement those. I mean, you're talking about some economic incentive tools that very few cities have and utilize. And candidly, I don't think that the city of Loganville is capable of investing. Not because there aren't great people here, but that's not just sort of your standard things that you see on a day in, day out basis. The economic development tools that you guys have available to you are things that that DDAs are supposed to do, things to attract people into downtown, things to encourage growth, facade grants, right? You want people to make things look better, then you take some of your resources and you say, we will partner with you through our facade grant program. I know I sent the facade grant structure from Monroe over to Dana, where it says we'll give up to $2,500 towards your facade improvements once you apply and get approved. If you agree to put in, I think it's 10,000, like, so maybe it's like, you know, a 4 to 5 kind of share match.
And even that was offered several years ago and nobody was interested.
Well, so there's an educational component, there's an advertising component, you know, getting the message out. But anyway, this idea of sort of prohibiting people from having dormant space is going to be real difficult. Can you address blighted properties and nuisance properties to where they're so dormant to where they're not, you know, to where they're inviting of crime or rodents and all that? Yes. But if somebody wants to close up their shop and keep it stable, you're going to be pretty limited on the things that you can do.
All right, so we're probably not gonna do that one because that's gonna be hard to overcome. But I
Yes,
think
that's
that's gonna be
always been
hard
the
to
big problem.
overcome
For that parking.
entire revitalization of Main Street.
I have a feeling too, like, I mean, they're rewriting ordinances right now. I guarantee that team rewriting it, I think 2 of them probably in here, I guarantee that they will do what they can because they want the same thing. So again, I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but I have a feeling they're gonna have some stuff in that new code that's going to, not word for word that, but I guarantee there's going to be more in there about how that's supposed to look, how it's going to look. So again, it's one of those, we can bring it up, but I have a feeling they're already on that before even we brought that up. But
We won't
Okay.
find out.
But still, we need to do something we do need to make it a goal to attract businesses and things like that. I don't know where they're gonna go, but we need to find them to come. And then events, and then just like the downtown identity, we use City of Monroe as you see, they have a very clear identity. They do that very well. We probably need to focus on that. That includes the social media, why we want the traffic on Main Street. And then goal 3 would be the funding, the grants. We've been talking about the grants and being able to give facade grants and things like that. And I've gotten like a whole list of grants together. Some of them we just don't qualify for because we're not in an economic, like we're not surrounded by really low income people. So, but I have been able to put together a pretty healthy list of things that we could at least try for that doesn't require us to have low income, so we can work on that.
Still
So
see
that's
the
what I
grant
came
writer.
for.
That would have been such a good thing, I thought.
Yeah, but there's some I think we could maybe do ourselves, I think, maybe. So that's what I came up with, and those are outside of obviously selling and developing 254 Main, which is the big one right now.
Yeah. Well done, Tara, as always. Put a lot of time into
Thanks.
this, I appreciate it.
And then the next one is the social media. We keep talking about it, but we keep not doing it.
This is
So-
my fault. I said it before I came here, that one of the, I don't know, over the summer, I had said that I would do that because I had so much time on my hands. And then I went and got a job and I'm busy trying to learn laws and everything else.
Well, you've ruined this.
I have ruined it. I have ruined it.
Just you.
Alright, so we just need to start, we do need to start using it, but some of the, like, Brax had some good ideas, like the before and afters of the buildings that
Oh, yeah,
have
yeah.
been redone. Anytime we have events, kind of a meet the
can use it
business,
coming
who
up.
who owns the business, what they're doing there, anything, just to get it. And last is we need to go and get our bank account before we get in trouble. So Jamie,
Done right away.
Terry, and, yeah.
Natalie keeps asking, yeah. Natalie keeps asking.
Yeah, that needs to be done ASAP.
Well, I am available on Tuesday and Thursday next week.
I don't have my schedule, so I can't. You say Tuesday and Thursday you're available?
Yeah.
Best for me.
Wednesday, I have meetings all day. Monday, I have meetings all day.
What
So
time are we
Thursday-
talking
Thursday's
about?
good for Jamie.
What time are you talking about possibly meeting?
It
on
has
Thursday?
to be between 9 to 5 when the bank is open.
Well,
I'll
yeah,
call
but I
him.
mean, what time are you?
Oh, I
you
can do any
available?
time. Yeah,
Oh,
I'll call
anytime?
Mandy and tell, I've been
Okay.
in contact with Mandy throughout the
Let me
process.
check my schedule, and it might, later in the afternoons tend to work better for me. So, you
Yeah,
know,
that's fine for me.
but
so-
let me see what my day looks like for next week then.
Okay, hopeful, so Jamie, you're good for Thursday?
Correct.
I'm good for Thursday.
Okay, I'll make it happen for Thursday, late afternoon.
Okay. All right, new business. I put these in the wrong order, but the Humane Society, I don't know if they've approached us or we approached them. Somehow we are in with the Humane Society and they want us to host an event.
No,
No?
that's not how it went at all.
Okay. Somehow, we are gonna host an event for the Humane Society. It's not gonna cost us anything, and Joanne's gonna tell you about it.
Okay.
If we vote on it, we're gonna host it, that is.
So here's what I have laid out. We are going to do a pet photo event. We're going, and by we, I'm not talking about any of you guys. We are going to build a kissing booth, which I've done this before. It was a big success. Advertise it. People can come with their pets and get their picture taken inside the photo booth. We are going to donate money to a 501 by the name of End the Cycle. They help folks that cannot afford to spay and neuter their pet or challenged to get that done. They pay for that to get done. The Humane Society is a big part because there's not a lot of light on the Humane Society. There's not a lot of events for these dogs. These dogs have been in the Humane Society for 1.5 to 2 years. They've got to get out. So I thought this would be a terrific way to get them to come down with their dogs and process out some adoptions, people to meet their dogs. Getting a hold of them is difficult, so I've had somebody speak to them. They said to give them the date, the place, the time, and they'll be there. And that's the only information or collaboration that I have access to. So the event is gonna go either with them or without them. I mean, it's an added benefit if they show up. But people love their pets. People love their pets. I mean, every other city, these pet things are huge. It brings people. I'm passionate about it.
No
So-
way.
I did this for my business a couple of years ago. It was huge. We had a huge turnout. So.
And I think it's going to be a great first event for us to host, but also Joanne and I have kind of collaborated on ideas, and it will be no cost to the DDA, except that we have to put our name on it, and Danny and Christy have generously donated the Anna Holbrook building for us to use that day on 2/14, so really would not cost the DDA anything other than we need to put our name on it so we can use the building. But we, between the two of us, have all the supplies and all the planning materials, so we just need an okay from the board so that we can put that together.
Who's with us?
Who's with us? What time are we doing it Saturday?
We are looking at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Valentine's Day.
But you guys also don't have to feel obligated.
I'm coming down with my dog.
Oh, come
I
on
was
down.
going to say, if you don't bring that cute little
My
dog.
little puppy. If you want to see her, she's always in my store, so just
Oh,
come
really?
look. Oh, yeah.
She was.
She runs that store.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we're going to expect you and her. What's
I
her
will.
name?
Finley.
Aw, so cute.
All right, so
Yeah.
Joanne.
Yeah. Terry motioned.
made a motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
Gladly.
All right, so all in favor of a DDA-sponsored, maybe Humane Society event?
I'm calling it a pet photo.
I like
Pet
dog
photo
kissing
event.
event. Let's do it.
Pet photo. event.
Say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're having a pet event.
Pet event.
Pet photo event.
Next, because we're having this event, Danny said that we have to provide every single person who pays for a photo with a receipt. So we need a payment collection method. I don't know if anyone has any suggestions, but if we're gonna have events and we're gonna be raising money, we probably need a way to collect money.
Square is really easy to sell.
That's what I used to, but
I thought the Humane Society, the money was going to them.
it is, but we were gonna collect it and then give it back, so we have to.
I would have Humane Society
It's not
collect the
going to the
money.
Humane Society. It's
Whoever
going-
the money's going to, I'd have them collect it and keep us out of it. I mean, that's just mine.
They are.
I think regardless.
It's not a brick and mortar. It's two women.
You said they have a 501c3, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know that having them.
Regardless, though, even what I was talking about future with the parade and stuff, this is going to need to be handled. We need to do something here sooner or later, whether that's Venmo, Cash App, a Square. We need to set something up. We're going to need it here. If we want to even move anywhere, we're going to have to start having a way to collect some sort of money eventually. So we might as well set it up now. You gave us a great reason to set it up, so let's set it up. It's going to have to be
I think it
done.
might be just we take in the money, we have the receipts, so we've got the paper trail, it goes into the bank, we present a
Setting up
check.
a Square involves us making an account for the DDA. We're not a 501c3. So
Y'all are fine. Y'all are an extension of.
Yeah, we get to,
You don't have to have 501c3 status, although we can get it if you don't already have it, but you're okay on that regard. You're a non-taxable, not-for-profit related entity. I can't give you the exact code section. I think it's 501.
I guess my point though
A.
is any donations made to us is not tax deductible for the person making the
yes,
donation.
it is.
Yes, it is.
But it would make a great
is,
photo
yes.
op if we
It's-
would
I mean,
collect
in
and
order-
cut a check to
Yeah.
the Humane
Yes,
Society
and the
at
site
council
checks
meetings.
Too.
Yeah,
I have some giant checks.
yeah. I mean, if we
Good
collected the
publicity, social
money,
media.
if we collected the money as the whole, since you're the host of it, you collect all the money. It's to the DDA. We turn around and cut a president a check to them at a council meeting. Whoa, look
Or
what
could we just do the dollar bills?
we could
There you
do
go.
that too.
Little
Yeah.
dollar gun. Square. I don't have it. Is it monthly cost?
It's per transaction cost, so
Oh, that's
it's,
perfect.
yes, a percentage of the, yeah, I think it's like 2.1, mine goes up and down.
Well, I just didn't know if hopefully it wasn't a subscription we're paying per
Oh,
month.
no, it
that's
only
great.
charges you if you, sell something through the card or,
So I say when y'all get the bank account set, I guess when the bank account's set up and you have those new numbers and stuff, that'll be the time to then open
yeah,
the
that's what I was
Square.
gonna say, we could set it a Square
Well, no,
up
that's-
as soon
y'all
as
have to
we.
sign that
And then
account
for what
first.
it's worth, I used to be a cash-only person. There may be people that want to pay cash.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
We'll just have
The
a
old
paper
receipt
receipt
book.
book, yeah.
Little lockbox, money box.
I use those every day. So do you.
All
What's
right. And then before we
get
go
my
back to
whole business.
254 Main and get the
I'm
last
familiar with
conversation with that out of the way, I don't know if everyone knows when their terms expire, but some people are expiring this year. Did we already lose Danny?
I'm expiring in March and whoever else had a 2-year term.
But the people who replaced people are
That's where
expiring
it
on
got
those
weird.
people's terms, right, too, right?
No, we
It-
were all appointed 2 years ago, the whole entire board.
But
Yeah.
I'm on a 4-year term.
Yeah, when
Yeah, and I
everybody,
was on a 2-year.
I think I'm on it too.
It was staggered.
Yeah,
So-
because then I came in,
You
well,
replaced
for
Dana.
right, Dana or Jamie, I don't remember who.
Oh, no, he replaced Jamie, you replaced Dana.
Are we sure?
Yes, because Terry was first and
All right, so
Jamie
Dana
was
was,
first to
I
leave.
think Dana was 2 years.
so y'all were appointed to staggered terms. I do remember that, but who and what? I think they were 246. That's what they should have been, 246 terms. And then anybody to replace somebody you take that term. But, so
I
it'll
might be able to tell.
do your minute, hopefully your minutes will
I'm
show.
about to say, I think I have that packet where the first
But
one.
y'all would be on 2, 4, 6 terms so that as everybody renews, everyone will then renew for 6-year terms thereafter. But generally, just, the bottom line is normally how this works is if y'all are serving and you wish to continue serving,
Are you two for?
let your council members know and they can reappoint you.
That's what we kind of want to find out.
Or
Are
is-
the people who are expiring planning to,
Well, let me ask this question. Is the council, Brandon, of a mindset that when the DDA members terms come up, are they maybe looking at replacing the members of the DDA with somebody they might have in mind? Is that option available at the council level as well?
The way we do things, we tried to standardize it years back. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Melanie. But say your term's expiring, you fill out an application again. And to be honest, I doubt anyone's going to turn in another application. But, it's always up to the council. We could always change that at a meeting and say, if we want to just continue on, keeping on, we can.
Because
So it's up to council to decide. So I can't promise you anything, but it'll be a council decision.
but we
Yeah,
really,
well, that's
we
what I was
really
wondering.
want to make sure everyone wants, who is gonna, if they don't want to, what our plan is going forward. Because we want to have a big.
Because that's the thing, I thought, and we've changed it so many times, but I thought we were doing, when a seat became open, you put in the application, there was some kind of an interview process, the old scoring system, we're not going,
Well, the city
and it was
council
picked
does
by then. It wasn't just pick your person and put them on, am I wrong?
No, the city council picks the members of the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, so technically, we pick the member of the board, but the way we pick them is going through the application process. And if we have enough candidates, then we interview.
But we're
But
not
a-
involved in it.
Right, I'm just trying to understand. 'cause
Back-
I
back
thought
in the day,
Brandon
we used
said,
to
talk
just
your
all
council
have a
person
pick.
to be reappointed.
Here's all I'm trying to say is you board members are appointed at the pleasure of the mayor and council. And if the mayor and council want to do a full application interview process, that is absolutely their prerogative. It is also just as much their prerogative to make a motion and say, I appoint Jim or Susie or Bob or any one of you to fulfill the upcoming term for whoever's expiring. They have that discretion to do it either way. Doesn't matter. It's up to
You
them.
don't think it's important to have one way of doing it and keep to that way?
That's not what I'm telling
And
you.
that's not our decision.
And that's not my decision, nor is it yours. What I'm telling you is that they have the prerogative to either conduct an interview process and leave the applications open and receive, which is very standard what a lot of people do. But they also have the prerogative to just simply appoint Jim or Susie or Bob. And what I was trying to explain to you is that it is very common that when you have been through a process, which this city has, where you're looking and looking and looking and looking and looking for applicants, that when renewals are coming up, new terms are coming up, before you go through the application process, a lot of times the citizens will just, the city council or the manager will say, would you like to continue serving? And then if they do, then they simply reappoint you rather than going through that application process. Because I have sat through enough of these to know that Danny has had trouble fielding applicants. So that was the point I was trying to make, is they have discretion to do it any which way they'd like to. And that is not my decision,
Well, and
that
that
is
was
their
the-
decision.
That was the reason I was asking Brandon, because I know with this new council and with expiring positions, there may be a new viewpoint or something like that, and they may see somebody they want on there. That's the reason why I was asking if that was a discretion that the city council had. I thought you did, but I just wanted to clarify that.
We do, but I just wanted to let everybody know it's really up to council to decide that. I know we've always tried to keep things uniform in the past, like you were saying, Joanne. So if we want to keep the process the same as we have been, then yes, we do the application process. But we don't have to do it that way. But it's up to council to decide how they want to do it. My guess would be applications again, but that's just a me guess, not a council guess.
Okay, but this conversation isn't about that.
About the
And
terms.
It is really just about who is not going to be here after March and by their own decision. Because if you're not going to be here, I'm sure the council will appreciate us helping them find
So Mike's
people.
saying he's leaving?
Yeah, Mike has said that he's probably going
The
to do
end of
that.
my term's the end of my term.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
you-
either March or April.
So we have at least one.
One
Do you know
With
any?
me, I'm really on the fence,
You know, I've been on the council a long time, and, you know, honestly, I feel like the only thing that I've accomplished is some signs on a trash can. That's, you know, that seems like the only thing.
That was a good accomplishment.
We have ran around this 254 Main Street over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I don't feel like there's been any progress made on it. I don't feel confident that there's going to be any super, you know, it's just, we talk about, you know, the same thing on 254 over and over about what we should do. Do we need to do this? We need to do that. It's the last 3 times we've talked about it. I don't think we've talked about anything different. You know, it's I'm just on the fence. You know, I don't know. I'm trying to make that decision
Is yours up
now.
in March too?
I think so.
Well, I'm gonna try to talk you into staying on this side of the fence, because I think we're at a point of where things are beginning to happen.
Yeah.
Like you said, now, I know I'm new to the game here, but I know, like you said, you go back as far as, my God, Danny Curry as mayor, and all the designs back then, and that's all that's been done is talk. And one time the council decided to do something, well, we all know what happened there. But the thing is, here in the short time I've been here, we've decided on getting an IGA. We've just got the council to respond to it. We've got property we can look at now. Heck, as far as I'm concerned, I want a list of all the properties so we can get IGAs on all of them and find out what this council wants so this city can move forward. And that's one of the components that's been missing, and with you on this board, I think we can achieve that. So,
But like I said, I haven't made a
Yeah,
decision
well,
one
good.
way or the other. I'm just letting you know what, you know, I'm not trying to keep what I'm feeling,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
under the wraps. You know, I'm a very, you know, I wear my stuff
Transparent
on
guy,
my
yeah.
sleeve, you know, for anybody to see. But, you know, like I said, I'm on the fence, you know, it's a decision that I have to make that I'm not ready to make right this particular second. So I'm not yaying, I'm not naying, I'm just,
On the fence, thinking about
So
it.
this is just basically a conversation to figure out where we're going, because if we're gonna be doing stuff, that's just 2 meetings away before we will be having a change up. So,
Who else is up? Do we know? I have no idea when Dana was.
I don't either.
You will need to appoint a new secretary.
yeah, well,
We can ask Danny to send y'all an email with all that information if y'all.
I just looked, I don't have it in the minutes because I remember now it was done in the city council meeting, the vote was, and the terms were pulled out of the hat in the city council. So we'll have to go back through the city council records to find
I
out.
was trying to go through my phone, but it died, so.
I feel like Danny
I'll get
was
Danny
asked
to
about it.
email y'all everybody's
Y'all
terms.
should have the answer pretty quick.
That way
I
everybody can
thought he
know.
didn't know. I thought he was asked about this another time and he didn't know.
It's in the city
If
minutes.
it was 2, 4, 6 stagger, that means if those both know they're 2, there's only one more that would be up, and it's probably it's one of
Correct.
us.
And I think,
Well, if
I
it's
cannot
2, 4,
remember, but
6.
one of y'all there would be 3 of y'all that were
That's what I was
either.
saying, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6,
I think
2.
one of them was the chairman at the time.
Dana.
Dana, I know for sure had a 2-year term. That I remember.
And that's it. I mean, it
And I
might,
remember it was, I
Jamie
know
and
it was
Dana.
me and I think Dana, and I'm not sure who the third one
Well, somebody said that, and I don't know, like you said, we'll get clarification, but somebody said the term I took would end in April. So, I don't know.
Dan
Yeah,
was
it's like
second.
one of those weird things because Jamie and Dana were gone at the same time, basically.
Well, if
And so
you're-
when we came in, it wasn't like, okay, you're taking Dana's seat and you're taking Jamie's seat. It was just we had 2 seats. And I think you and me might have been the only people. And then what about David King? Was he in the beginning?
He applied. We had an
David
opening
King's-
and he applied.
So he came, okay.
So he got whatever term was left after that.
So this is more a conversation of anyone who's planning on leaving, though, so you're not planning, Terry, or,
Peace out.
no. So if we know someone, or are we
Invite 'em.
allowed to suggest people to city council when it comes to that point?
Haven't
or-
filed an application.
Okay, perfect. I just don't want to go do
But it's
something
not open
illegal.
yet.
It's not open yet. Once the terms are done, or if y'all know y'all are leaving, then, you know, it's up to council to decide when we want to post it. It'd be like we have the planning and zoning open right now. So it'd be like the same process like that, unless council decides to change that. But that would be the way I would think.
While
It would be
we're on
done.
this topic, we need a liaison.
This is our liaison.
So when it was voted on before, Paul might have to look it up, but it was the office of the mayor serves as the liaison for the,
I thought it was that it was primarily your opinion that in other cities, the mayor was, and so you felt that that's how it should go, and hence why Skip was there, but I don't know it to be a hardened
It's still the
rule.
council's decision, not y'all's.
Yeah, it's council's decision, but the way is in the,
Yeah, so it's so the council can place one of their own members on your board, should they choose, which they did not or have not. And then the council can also appoint a liaison, which they did, but it's been some time. And
I can't remember how it was worded.
It was the mayor.
the mayor, I know.
But if they want to revisit that, they can, but that is their decision, not y'all's.
So is that something that's on the? Okay.
So we can have a member of city council on the board and the mayor as the liaison.
Sure. I mean, I don't know that you would need both, but should the city council choose, they could set one of their members as one of your standing seven.
Okay.
But they have not, and that's probably split. Half the cities, I think, put a council member on the DDA, and about half of them don't, but usually do have some sort of DDA committee chairman or some other sort of liaison appointed to be the, sort of the bridge, the
So
communication.
do we
gap.
not get a say, like this is what we would like, it's our committee and we would?
Absolutely. I'm sure the council would love to hear what you have to say, but I was just clarifying, making sure you understood that it's not your decision, it's the council's decision. They compose this board, they appoint you, and then they appoint their liaison for communication purposes.
So does council vote on a liaison?
Yes, that's what I just said. They've already they voted on it, I guess, last year sometime.
Just that the liaison that we voted on was no longer there, so we need to vote for a new liaison.
But they're saying when they voted for the liaison, they voted for a position. Oh,
we'll have to look back and see, but I believed it was for the office of mayor. But I could be wrong on that.
We will definitely have to look back. Okay, so.
all right,
to
so
be
we're good.
Determined all around with, yeah.
Oh,
And then
no,
Danny
well,
is
we know-
supposed to-
We do know that Michael is gonna be leaving, so if anybody knows anybody or has any ideas for that position,
I do.
oh, do you?
Yeah, I know somebody that might be interested.
Good.
I've already sent them a text.
Oh, I might know someone too.
Yeah. Get the word out now.
All right, so 254 Main, let's get back to that. So we're gonna bring our ideas to the next meeting.
We're gonna email before then.
We're gonna email before then. Paul is providing us with two examples, one simple example and one fancier example, so we can choose between them. And then hopefully by next meeting, I guess the next meeting, most of our talking will just be about 254 Main, so we can get that RFP going.
Jamie can't wait.
Hey, I tried to force it today and everyone was like, no, slow down for once. All right. Anything else anybody wants to talk about 254 Main? Paul might not be at the next one.
I don't want to keep this meeting longer. Just thinking through what bank account, if he ends up making his decision before the bank account, there's no point for y'all to do to the bank account if he ends up leaving.
Well, he's still our treasurer, so we have to anyway. We'll just have to change it again when he leaves.
Okay. I just didn't know if that could wait another few weeks. I just, like I said, I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, like, it's just one more step that we'd have to do again.
I mean, I'm fine with it, but the city is not.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
no, it wouldn't be a big task going back and signing a signature card.
Is it that simple? I just didn't know.
Yeah,
if it
the
was-
only reason we have
Okay.
to
I just didn't
now
wanna
is
waste your
because
time.
the account is owned by Dana, and I'm just a signer.
Okay.
So I can't just go change the signer.
But now you're gonna be the owner, in a
Well,
way.
I'll make all,
Okay,
we all three will be owners. That way if one of us leaves.
Okay, I just didn't want to waste his
Yeah.
time, y'all's time.
Stakeholders.
And like I said, I'm not.
You ain't left yet.
I don't want you to leave.
I've already slashed his tires, disconnected the battery to that Rivian truck he's driving. He ain't going nowhere.
Just real quick on 254 Main, I have already emailed you all those two examples, but I just was doing a little bit, it's amazing how Google helps you out. But I was right. Lilburn has 3 or 4 really good examples of over just the last 5 years. One is an infill project like this. One is a redevelopment renovation of some residential, and the other is a redevelopment renovation of a larger commercial piece. And the encouragement I would give you guys, if you have the time, is pick up the phone and call the other DDA board members in Lilburn and the like, and you can always say, hey, who are those best people that put in? Who did you like the best? And then you're literally dialing for dollars and calling them saying, hey, we know y'all put in a great idea over in Lilburn, and we've got a piece of dirt over here that we'd love for you to come put a great idea in. So I just did a little bit of digging, and I did remember talking to, I think it was Lilburn City Attorney, that they've had several RFPs, and I just found several of them. And they're pretty basic, but they do, but the one thing I'll encourage on is, one of the reasons why those are a little more basic is they reference a lot of master vision plans that the city has done on how they want their downtown architecture to look. But Lilburn's a good example for y'all to go by. They're similar in size, they're similar in location. They have some similar traffic constraints like y'all do, and they've done a lot of pretty impressive things in that little downtown
It's a
core.
nice area.
Since I used to play tennis over there in high school.
I run through it all the time.
It was a tennis court and a railroad track and a train depot, and now it's, much different, so.
Open this thing up to public comment.
All right, anything else we need to talk about tonight?
Public comment?
Bring your dogs.
Oh, yeah,
on, Melanie.
public comment.
Public comment?
Public comment. It looks like
All my comments.
New Year, we're gonna have a podium in the
I would
middle.
like to make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Second, third, fourth.
All right, good job, guys.
Thank you, Chad.